friends, how are you all doing? Today is Friday, December 2nd, and I am back for my stitching update. It's been 2 weeks since my last one, so I hope you have all been well and you've been stitching and making and creating all of the things. If you're brand new to my channel, welcome. My name is Olivia, and this is Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. This is a video podcast where I talk about my cross stitching as well as my quilting. However, if quilting is not something you're interested in seeing or hearing, I show it a little bit later on in the video, and I let you know in plenty of time that they will be making their appearance, so that way you can go on to the next Flosstube video. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. So hello, how are you? I hope you've had a great 2 weeks since we last sat down to chat. Here in my neck of the woods, it is very cold. We ended up, well, the hills around us ended up getting quite a bit of snow. And yesterday afternoon, it snowed here for about 45 minutes. It melted, but it was nice to see it coming down. And it was kind of cool that it was December 1st and, you know, it was snowing. But the areas around us got quite a bit of snow, and here in the valley it's just cold and wet, and there's like a trace here and there of the light dusting that we had. But it sure was pretty when it came down, and I'm hoping that maybe we'll be lucky enough this year to have just snow, no ice, because I do enjoy a good snow day. So over the past 2 weeks, the husband and I celebrated our 24th wedding anniversary, and then we spent Thanksgiving with my dad and my grandma, and we had all the fixings for Thanksgiving, except I did not make sweet potato pie, and I didn't really think it was that big of a deal, but apparently my children did, and they were very highly disappointed that I did not make it. So I definitely will have to do that next year, but it was a good time. I was able to decorate the table and, you know, get kind of fancy, and it was a lot of fun. I think I posted a picture on Instagram of the turkey that I made for the centerpiece, and I had intended on bringing it in here today, but I ended up taking it all apart and putting it away over the weekend and wasn't really thinking. But it was one that I had done where, you know, I molded it out of muslin using a pattern I found on Etsy, and I painted it and did all the things, and it took me like almost 2 days to make the turkey, and I think he turned out pretty good. I'll insert a picture of him. But it was really good. And then the day after Thanksgiving, I decorated the house for Christmas. I was a bit of a Scrooge that day. I don't know why. But I think getting out, you know, putting all the Thanksgiving stuff away and then just getting out the tons of boxes that Christmas, all the Christmas decor has, I think it just got to be a little bit overwhelming. I'm not really sure why. And I probably will spend the whole month of December foofing everything, adding, taking things away, moving it around until finally the day after, or a few days after Christmas, I take it all down. But I think everything turned out really good. I do enjoy decorating Christmas trees. So in this room here, I have 3. I have the main Christmas tree, which is across the room, and then these 2 that are behind me. This one here is the Santa tree, and this one over here, it's just, I put red and white and silver balls, and then I don't know if you can tell, right here is a snowflake. And these were my grandma's ornaments. They had bought those and had them on their tree from the first year that they got married all the way up until when my grandma decided to not decorate a Christmas tree anymore, and she gave them to me. So the white ones, or the clear white ones, hang on this tree. And then in the other room, I have a vintage Christmas tree, and the ones that are teal and pink and green hang up in that one, and I'll be sure to insert a picture because that tree is one of my favorite. It's got all the really old Christmas glass ornaments that were my grandparents, and I love that tree so very much. And the angel on top also is one that they purchased their very first Christmas, hung on every Christmas tree, and now it hangs on mine, so I treasure it. And again, I will put a picture at the beginning, or I'll put a picture somewhere in this area. The trench bowl is also all decked out for the holiday season, And the quilt that is hanging behind me in today's video is called Fresh Cut Pines by Sherry Falls. It's out of the book Winter Wonderland. And I will talk about the quilt a little bit later on in the quilting portion of today's video. I do want to apologize. I ended up coming down with a little bit of a cold again. This makes number 4 for this year. So I am very vexed that once again I have gotten a cold. Each one is a little bit different. So when my son came home, he had a chest cold, and then I saw my grandma who also had a chest cold. A few days later, I ended up getting it too. So for the last couple of days, I've just kind of been laying around like a bum. And I did not want to miss today's video because I think next week I have something going on, and I didn't want to let there be too many weeks in between videos, even though I know you guys would totally understand. But I do have a lot I'm going to show in my next video, so I definitely wanted to make sure that I did today's video. So if I forget anything, if you're having any trouble hearing me, I do apologize. And when I'm editing, hopefully I will be paying attention a lot better than I did last time when I had a cold and edited and left out the whole giveaway part. But hopefully in today's video, I can be a little bit more with it and pay attention when I'm editing today's video. But do apologize. And before I say, Olivia, you should take vitamins, I take a crap ton of vitamins. I just have a really crappy immune system, I guess, for some reason. Anyway, so as long as you bear with me today, I have some stuff to show you. Okay, so I did have one question from my last video, and I had talked about, I had purchased a new scroll frame from Amazon. I had gotten a gift certificate for my birthday from my dad and Carol, and I had purchased an light, and I also talked about the scroll frame that I had bought. Several of you were curious what one I had purchased, and it comes from American Dream, and it's an oak easy stitch frame, and I got it in a 26-inch because I wanted to be able to fit larger pieces of linen, and I do enjoy stitching in my scroll frame. I wanted to get a lock scroll frame, but unfortunately, well, the price of them went up, and so that's one of the reasons why I didn't. And I believe there's some supply chain issues. So I did some research, and this one was pretty highly recommended. I decided to get the one that's got the Velcro. So there's a piece of Velcro on here, and then you buy a roll of self-adhesive Velcro. So it'd be the other side of the piece of Velcro, and then that is how it's attached to the scroll frame. So far I like it. I wasn't sure how well I would, because you can also get these with a piece of webbing, and I wanted to try it with the wow, I'm totally blanking on it. I wanted to try it with the Velcro because, again, I had watched a ton of tutorials and videos and all sorts of things, and a lot of stitchers really like it. So, so far I do like it. Again, it is a massive behemoth, so I use it when I am stitching with my Lowry floor stand, which I also really love using. So since I just showed the scroll frame that I have been using when I stitch on my Elizabeth Furniss sampler, I thought I would start with her today. So I'm stitching Elizabeth Furniss 1836 sampler by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. I started this back in October, and I am stitching it with Yvette, and on Instagram she is Yvette Go. I'm also stitching it with Christy Crosshatch Quilts and Becky Socks for Mom. And it's been so very much fun to work on. But the one thing I wanted to show you is the Velcro that, so this is the other part of the Velcro that attaches to my scroll frame. You buy it in a roll. It is self-adhesive. It's got a pretty good, I mean, it's good and stuck on there. And they basically tell you that when you're done stitching, you'll just go ahead and just cut right along the top here and then cut it off. So you want to make sure that you have enough linen or Aida to work with in order to stick this piece of self-adhesive Velcro. So far I love it. It does, you know, I can kind of get a nice, I can get it not necessarily really taut, and I'm guessing it's because, you know, it's such a big piece. But I think if I were to attach some clamps to the side where it could pull, you know, it could pull my linen, that it would make it nice and tighter. But so far I love it. So here is my progress on Elizabeth. So I'm stitching this on a piece of 40 count bee's knees by Seraphim Fabrics with DMC, and I'm stitching at 1/2. So I was working down in the lawn area. So the page that I am on has a pretty good section of lawn. There's some lawn and animals, and then the border, the side border comes down. I'm actually really glad the border only goes down the sides and across the top. It's not on the bottom. So I won't have to worry about my corners meeting up or anything like that on the bottom. I'll just have to worry about it on the one side. But I am enjoying working on this. I worked on it for a little while yesterday while I laid around like a bum. And it was good because I just filled in that little grass section down there. And I think it's a deer that I stitched. I also worked a little bit on the basket that is above the bird. So my plan for December is to work on Elizabeth, and then I also am going to work on my Coming to America Women of the Mayflower, and those will be my 2 projects for December, because I would like to get Coming to America, Women of the Mayflower done by the end of the year. I do not want to carry it over into next year. I only want to take 1 whip, and that's Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain. So hopefully I can make that happen. But I am really enjoying working on Elizabeth. She is so beautiful. I love the colors, so rich and vibrant, and I cannot wait to hopefully have her done maybe by this time next year. She's actually going to be one of my focus pieces for next year, so hopefully I can get her finished next year, later next year. I did have a start and a finish this past week. I started working on the Prairie Schooler St. Nicholas, and I stitched this Santa right here. My husband Brian picked it out. He wanted me to stitch a Santa for the tree this year, or he asked if I would stitch a Santa for our tree this year. And I said yes. It was supposed to be my morning stitch, but I actually ended up working on it on Monday and Tuesday. And here he is. So the only thing I left off is around the Santa there is a border that you stitch, and I decided just to leave it off. Haven't really decided yet how I would like to finish him, whether I want to finish him into a little pillow ornament or I want to do like mount him onto mat board. So I will need to figure that out. I realize I probably should have figured it out before I started working on him, but I just sat down and started stitching. There's something about stitching Prairie Schoolers that is just so very comforting, and I love it. So I stitched this on a piece of 32 count Summer Khaki with the called for DMC, and I did use 2 strands of floss over 2 linen threads. I love it, love it. So hopefully in my next video I will have decided and have him finished. Okay, so the next one is the ES Spot Motif Sampler by A Female Worth. And I started this, I think 3 Sundays ago. I am working on it with Carol Crago and Yvette. And it's been a lot of fun. I feel like when I'm working on this, I am stitching at a snail's pace, but each motif has a lot of color changes, so it definitely takes a little extra time. So this is how far I got. I'm pretty sure I'm super behind. I've only really been able to work on it, so on the Sunday nights I've only been able to really work on it about an hour and a half. And what I should do this coming Sunday is I should sit down and spend several hours on it in the daytime. So I might, but I love working on, I love the colors. They are just so very beautiful. I'm stitching it on a piece of 40 count sand by Picture This Plus with the called for threads 1/2. And I really love the border that goes around it. I just love those sharp angles. I think it just looks so classy. I just love it. I can't wait to get it done. This one will hang in my bedroom. I already have a spot picked out for it. And I still got a long ways to go, but I'm really enjoying working on it, and I just love it. Love it. You can get PDF copies or PDF charts from 1884 Stitchery. Next up is Harvest I Grow by Homespun Prims by Lori. So originally I had wanted to try to get this finished by Thanksgiving. Didn't quite make it, but I did finish it before the end of November. So it's still a win. And here is what it looks like. I think it turned out really, really good. I love it. I love the colors. I love everything about this piece. I made a change to it. So below the flower, the original sampler had the name of the little girl that stitched it. I took it out and I put our last name and the year that we got married. So I stitched this with various threads. I had some overdyed and some DMC, and I stitched it 1/2 on a piece of 36 count antique cotton by R&R. I love it. I probably won't fully finish this one until sometime next year. So it's gonna hang out for a little while. But it'll give me enough time to find the perfect frame for it. And it'll probably be one that I'll cut down from something larger. So I loved working on it. It was a lot of fun. I would like to do, I don't think it's a companion piece to it, but Lori Rippey, who is the designer, Homespun Prims by Lori, she released another sampler. I think it was this year, earlier in the year. And I don't know if it's a companion piece, but it kind of looks like it could be. And that is one that I would like to stitch, hopefully sometime next year. All right, and then my last one was Christmas Joy, also by Homespun Prims by Lori. I was able to get this one finished as well. And here it is. So I stitched this on a piece of 36 count a legacy with the called for DMC 1/2. I love this one so much. So I haven't measured it yet, but the directions say if you stitch it on a piece of 36 count, you'll be able to put it in a 5x7. So I'm hoping that mine turned out to be that size. I probably should have went and looked in my frame stash to see if I have something. I haven't done it yet, but hopefully this coming week or maybe even the week after, I can get this framed and then get it up on my wall. So I love it. I love the colors. It's so beautiful. So I'm very, very happy I was able to get a couple little Christmas projects finished this year. All right, so I went ahead and grabbed 3 of my previous finishes. The first one is called And to All a Good Night by Blackbird Designs. So I worked on this one last year and I stitched it with Lauren and Carol and Yvette. And it was a lot of fun. I stitched mine on a piece of 36 count aspen with the called for threads 1/2. The frame was, I had bought some frame molding from Home Depot and I had my husband cut it. I assembled it into the frame and painted it. So it's got red paint, and then I also kind of went in and mixed antiquing wax and then some black in there as well to kind of give it, I don't know, some dimension, I guess. But I really like how it turned out, and I have this one hanging out in the other room. I no longer have the chart. This is one that is out of print currently, although you can get it on the secondary market. The next one is called Christmas Rose, also by Blackbird Designs. I stitched this one on a piece of 36 count vintage homespun by R&R, and I did use the called for threads 1/2. I went ahead and personalized it with my great aunt's name. So her name was Thelma Irene Parnell. Her family called her Irene, and she was born in 1933. And I believe she died in the 70s. She sort of had a very tragic end to her life. And whenever anybody talked about her, they just talked about what a wonderful person she was, so loving and giving and just a lot of fun. And I wish I would have been able to have met her. And I think the reason why I decided to stitch her for this particular one is I think her birthday was in December, and I should have went and looked that up before I did my video. But I love this one. So this was another frame that I had bought the frame molding from Home Depot, and then my husband cut it for me and I assembled it and I painted it green. I was trying to get it so that it matched some of the trees that were in this sampler. I feel like I got pretty close. So I love it. This one hangs out in this room. There is there's a shelf across the room and I have it there. So I love it. So very beautiful. And my last one is called Colonial Christmas Practice Sampler by Primitive Stitchin on Etsy. And this one stitched up really, really fast. I really enjoyed working on this one. I stitched it on a piece of 32 count natural linen that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. I used the called for DMC Threads and I stitched it 1/2. And I personalized it with, I think it's my 7th or 8th time great-grandmother, Rebecca Sims. Love it, love it. Really enjoyed working on that one. And again, it's stitched up really fast. So if you're looking for just a quick Christmas project to get done between now and Christmas, I can highly recommend that. And I will put a link to Primitive Stitchin, not stitching, it's Primitive Stitchin, her Etsy shop down below. I did receive a little bit of mail from the Fat Quarter Shop, and these items are available now on the Fat Quarter Shop's website, and I will put a link to that website down below. The first one is a pattern by Lori Holt called So Scrappy Spools. So beautiful. Lori Holt knows how to do scrappy so very well. Another quilt pattern called Swallowtail by It's So Emma. Very, very pretty. Fall is in the Air cross stitch chart that was featured in their Stitch Quarterly. Rudolph, which is part of the Typeface series by It's So Emma. Super cute. And Cookie Cutter Ornaments, also by It's So Emma. These ones would be really fun to stitch up and fairly quick. So thank you so much to the Fat Quarter Shop for sending those items to me. And again, I will put a link to the Fat Quarter Shop's website down below. In my last video, I did have a giveaway, and thank you so much to everyone who entered to win and play along. The question that I had asked was, what is your favorite linen or Aida dyer? Or if you didn't have one, you could just let me know what you were stitching on or what you enjoyed stitching on. I enjoyed reading through everyone's comments. So if you are a winner, what you will need to do is contact me via email, or you can also contact me on Instagram or Facebook, and I will put my contact information down below in the description box. But send me your address and I will get your prize out in the mail to you soon. The first winner is for the 2018 Santa by Prairie Schooler, and the winner is Wendy Ahles. So it's Wendy and Ahles. I apologize if I said your last name wrong. Number 2 is for American Farmhouse by the Scarlet House, and the winner is Aiden Salmonson. Oh, I think I butchered that. It's so it's Aiden, Salmansohn. Number 3 is for Where Liberty Dwells by Brenda Gervais, and the winner is Lori Bowen. Number 4 is You Are the Boss of Your Own Cross Stitch by Lori Holt, and the winner is Julie McLean, or McLean. And number 5 is for Emily's House, and the winner is Tara Cox. So thank you so very much to all of the winners. I do apologize if I have butchered any of your names. These are your YouTube names. And so if you can contact me and send me your address, I will get those out in the mail to you very soon. Okay, so today's video also has a giveaway. What you will need to do to be eligible to win is to be a subscriber, like the video, and then answer the question down below. There are 5 prizes up for grabs in today's video. So when you answer the question, somewhere in your answer, you will need to indicate which items you are interested in winning, 1 through 5, because that is how I pull the giveaway winners, and put them in your answer down below. The first one is the Fall is in the Air cross stitch, so this is number 1. Number 2 is Swallowtail. Number 3 is the So Scrappy Spools. Number 4 is the Rudolph Typeface. And number 5 is the Cookie Cutter Ornaments. So the question that you will need to answer down below is, if you could spend Christmas anywhere in the world, where would it be and why? So if I could spend Christmas anywhere in the world, and keep in mind you can take your family with you. If I could spend Christmas anywhere in the world, I think I would want to go down to Australia and spend it like in Queensland or someplace like that where there's a beach and it's very tropical. I think that would be really cool to have that experience on Christmas, because living here in the Pacific Northwest, it's usually cold, it's usually wet, it's most likely raining. So I think it would be really fun to just do the opposite and go someplace where it's really warm and spend it on a beach and just to kind of see what that is like. I think that would be a lot of fun. So place your answers down below, where you would want to, if you could spend Christmas anywhere in the world, where would it be and why? Put it down below. Indicate which items you're interested in winning somewhere in your answer. And in my next video, I will announce the winners. And as always, thank you so very much for playing along. Well, my friends, as far as all of the cross stitching goes, that is all I have to show in today's video. My plan will be to continue working on Elizabeth Furniss. And then starting back on, I'm just going to call it Mayflower, starting back on my Mayflower piece. And that's really where my focus is going to be, is working on Mayflower and getting it done before the end of the year. Probably should have brought it and showed it in today's video, but I had not worked on it at all in the past 2 weeks. So I will have that progress to show next time. And then I will have all of my other previous cross stitch finishes to show. So I will have the trench bowl, and there's a couple ornaments on my tree, and then I have some other framed pieces and some other ones that I did in other finishings, or other ways that I finished. So I will have all those to show in my next video. And I definitely hope that I am feeling a whole heck ton better, because I am really getting tired of getting sick. It seems like it's once a month. So definitely, I'm definitely sick of being sick. So, if you're not interested in hearing about the quilting or quilts or anything quilting related, this is a great stopping off point, and I will be back in 2 weeks. Before you go, I have been adding project bags back into my Etsy shop, and I do thank everyone who has purchased a bag from me. I have sold out a couple of different times over the past 2 weeks, which makes me so very, very happy. I'm so blessed that so many of you guys enjoy my bags. I had started to put some at the beginning of this week. I had been working on some and I had some of those loaded into the shop. Several have sold. I only think there is a few left at this point. I had planned to have more put in there, but then I got sick and I just was not able to concentrate on it. So, of course, over these next 2 weeks, I will be adding bags back in. I also do have some quilting too. So, but thank you to everybody who has purchased a bag from me. I appreciate it more than you know. So, thank you so very, very much. And if you're interested in the few that are in there right now, I'll put a link to my Etsy shop down below. And again, thank you so very much to all of you guys who have made a purchase from me over the past 2 weeks as well as over the past year. It means so much to me. Thank you so very much. All right, so we'll start off with talking about the quilt that is hanging up behind me. It is called Fresh Cut Pines by Sherry Falls. I think it's This and That Pattern Company, but it was out of her book Winter Wonderland. And the funny thing about this quilt is whenever I look at it, I think of Christy at Crosshatch Quilts because she is 100% responsible for me purchasing the kit way back when it first came out. And I don't remember how or why. I just remember, I don't know if I was talking to her or if she had posted something on Instagram or something like that. But I remember her sending me a message and telling me that you could get the kit at this one place, and all you have to do is send her a message. I think it could have been there was a stitch along or a sew along going on at that time. I don't remember. I just remember she is 100% responsible for it. So when I look at it, I always call it my Christy quilt because she's totally responsible for it. I made several quilts out of the Winter Wonderland book, and then Sherry Falls had another book that came out the next year, and I remember I think I made one quilt out of that one. But so I made this one first, and I'm pretty positive it was a sew along. There's a lot of people on Instagram that when they post pictures of their house, I can see this quilt. It was really popular when it came out. I mean, it was really, I mean, it's a very beautiful quilt, really quick and easy. And I am a sucker for Christmas trees, so putting this particular quilt together was just right up my alley. But I remember it was very popular when it came out, and there was a lot of people making it. And I don't remember the fabric line it came out of. I want to say it was a Sweetwater line, but it had all these vintage cars and trucks, and there was all sorts of things. It was a beautiful fabric line, and but it had come from the Etsy shop where I had purchased the kit from. She cut it from the fabric line. So it wasn't like I had the entire fabric line. I just had bits and pieces of it. And then I want to say that the cream is also from that same line. But I loved it. I enjoyed putting it together, and I love having it out. I mean, I've had it done for a while now. And every year when I get it out, I just really enjoy it. And then when I'm kind of going through some of my Christmas fabrics and stuff, I have little bits and pieces of it left over, and it was just such a great fabric line. All right, so last time I showed 2 of the 7 blocks that I was working on for my Block Bonanza quilt. So the 7 blocks are these ones down here, And after my last video, I was able to sit down, I think on that Sunday, and finish the rest of the blocks. So all of my Block Bonanza blocks are complete, and I am just waiting for the finishing fabrics to arrive so I can get my Block Bonanza done. So my Block Bonanza was made out of the Rose fabric line by Joe Morton. And here is the first one I worked on. I really like how this one turned out. This one here. I love her fabric line, the Rose fabric line, so much. That one. This one gave me fits. It's not perfect, but it looks okay. And this one. So hopefully, because usually the, so I am doing the block of the month through Homestead Hearth, and they usually get the block of the month out within like the first week or two. So hopefully next week maybe I will get the finishing fabric. So it'll be all of these blue blocks in between, and then it'll be the border fabrics. So once those fabrics arrive, I'm not sure how soon after they arrive I will start assembling them, because I have to make one Christmas quilt to give as a gift. Haven't bought the fabric yet. I need to do that over this weekend. So that one will kind of be my first priority. But then once my obligations fulfilled, then I will work on Block Bonanza, and I would like to get it done by the end of the year. We'll see. I'm not sure how involved those blue blocks are, but I'm sure that'll probably take a little bit of time. So once it comes, I'll start cutting it out, and then probably will begin assembling the blocks kind of throughout December. So I'm looking forward to it. Now I did start a new quilt. It would have been done because I had all of the blocks completely assembled on Tuesday night. And then on Wednesday evening, I was going to cut out the sashing and put the quilt together. And then unfortunately, on Tuesday night, I wasn't feeling the greatest. I went to bed and just had a really rough night. Woke up sick the next morning. So unfortunately, I don't have this quilt finished to show you, but I'm hoping in my next video I will. And it's called Christmas Turkey by Temecula Quilt Company. And this is what it looks like. So I started on Sunday. I cut everything out. And I started assembling, well, actually, I take that back. I started cutting the quilt out on our anniversary, which was last Tuesday. And then on Sunday, I started assembling them, or these blocks right here. And so I worked on these all day on Sunday, and then on Monday and Tuesday, I assembled all the blocks together. So you were supposed to use a variety of reds, greens, yellows, browns, and pinks. And so that's what I did. So I'm hoping when it comes together, it'll look, I mean, I don't know how Christmassy it'll look, but it might be one that I'll be able to use throughout the year. And there's another Christmas quilt I did last year. It's hanging on the wall across the room, and I had it out all year too. So chances are this one will get left out as well. So I am looking forward to having all of the blocks assembled into the quilt. And I love it. I think I love all the blocks. Once I got this part done, they went together really fast. I actually worked on them in between project bags. So when I started in the morning, I put like 3 or 4 blocks together, worked on project bags, and then when I was done, I assembled however many more I could get done before I went to bed. And then the next morning I woke up and I did the same thing.
And by Tuesday night, I was able to get them all done. I mean, they just went together really, really fast. So it had you make 20 blocks. And I apologize if you can see my handshake. I'll be so glad when my cold is gone. So those are all 20 of the blocks, and I did enjoy putting them all together. The cream colored fabric that I used, that I used for this part here is also what I will use for the sashing, and it's just a muslin, just a really good quality muslin. And I think it's in natural is what it's called. So again, I'm hoping in my next video I will have it totally done and maybe quilted. Maybe. We'll see. Because I don't think I have backing fabric. I'm going to go check. But I'm not sure that I have enough. It takes 3 yards. So I'll see if I have something that might work, and if not, then I'll have to order it. But maybe. At least I'll have the whole quilt, hopefully, put together to show in my next video. As far as all of the quilting goes, that is all I have to show in today's video. And if you've stuck around for this length of time, thank you so very much. The plan for me is to be back in 2 weeks. And I will show previous quilting finishes. So I'm looking forward to sharing those all with you. I also have some quilted pillows and a couple of table runners to show as well. So it'll just be a hodgepodge of all sorts of previous finishes, and I'm looking forward to it. So in the meantime, if you would like to see what I am up to in between Flosstube videos, you can follow me on Instagram. I am Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. I do have a Facebook page, which is called Pumpkin Hollow Quilting, and I will put all of that information down below in the description box. And I really do appreciate you stopping by to hang out with me today. I hope you have a great 2 weeks. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below, and I will either answer them directly or answer them in my next video. Hope you have a great 2 weeks, and I will see you all again soon. Bye-bye.